Hello, kiddies. It's your old pal, John Crusier, the voice of the Crypt Keeper, and you're listening to Video Store Clerks Podcast.
Welcome to the store.
Hello, Internet. Welcome once again to the Video Store Clerks Podcast. We are your clerks this evening. I'm Dave.
Chadman.
Who I am is inconsequential.
I'm Chuck.
And tonight, our main topic of discussion will be the 1995 Dave Fincher directed crime thriller classic SE7EN. We're very excited about this one. I know I am. But we will start the program as we always do. Oh my God. It's the news!
Oh my God, it's the news. Somebody call somebody.
Final temperatures, we're looking at 71 degrees over downtown Los Angeles, 68 and 41.
Where do you go from here?
We got you, Vera. We got you. We got a trick on you. You okay? Oh, no.
How
That
bizarre.
one guy really got into it.
We're coming to get you, Barbara.
Oh my gosh. So, wow. News? What news would there be? Some things have been going on. As predicted here on the Video Store Clerks Podcast, by the way, the Actors Union has joined the Writers Union in a strike. We did talk about this a couple weeks ago, that it's a very real possibility this will happen. The Directors Union did reach a deal, however, so they won't be joining them. But Hollywood is pretty much crippled at the moment. Everything is on hold and delayed. The Emmys, I believe, were up in a couple weeks, so I don't know what's going to happen there. No official announcement has been made. I don't know if it'll get postponed. I don't know if they're just going to try to wing it or whatever. The Oscars, I think March or April. I don't watch the award shows. I don't know.
I was going to say, I have a better question that should be asked. Who fucking cares? Let it fucking die. Let the indie guys come up and fucking rise up and fucking do what we do, like what we know what to do. You know, we got better ideas than half these fucking assholes. Yeah, fuck them. You know, fuck it. They want to fucking stop, then fuck it. Quit putting out garbage. You'll get paid more. Simple as that. Just let you go away. Let the underground rise up, and simple as that. I'm feeling good today, guys. Continue.
Good.
Or perhaps they could pay the writers and the actors what they deserve.
Yes.
When it ain't shit.
The last time this happened was 1960, and I don't know the details of that strike, but I imagine it had something to do with television. Anytime there's a new medium, like with the streaming services, things like this happen. But another fear is the fear of AI, basically taking actors' jobs. Not just actors, neither. I mean, hair,
They
makeup,
took their jobs.
pretty much anything, and it's very scary to think that, you know, if there's an actor you don't like, you can just post a video with them saying some crazy shit and post it online and ruin their fucking, not just their career, but their life. And it's it's terrifying. Here is SAG President Fran Drescher.
Cannot believe it, quite frankly. How far apart we are on so many things. How they plead poverty, that they're losing money left and right when giving hundreds of millions of dollars to their CEOs. It is disgusting. Shame on them. They stand on the wrong side of history at this very moment. We stand in solidarity in unprecedented unity. Our union and our sister unions and the unions around the world are standing by us, as well as other labor unions. Because at some point, the jig is up. You cannot keep being dwindled and marginalized and disrespected and dishonored. The entire business model has been changed by streaming, digital, AI. This is a moment of history that is a moment of truth. If we don't stand tall right now, we are all going to be in trouble. We are all going to be in jeopardy of being replaced by machines and big business. Who cares more about Wall Street than you and your family? Most of Americans don't have more than $500 in an emergency.
Has nobody seen Terminator? Like, seriously.
Yep.
The rise of AI is inevitable.
Yeah.
Oh, my. So, yeah, we're at a moment in history here, ladies and gentlemen. So, like and subscribe. We'll keep you up to date with the news. In more crazy news, Disney president, CEO Bob Iger, rumors are going around once again that he plans on selling the company, with Apple being the top contender. That might be best. Just burn the whole thing down and start over at this point. They said, like even the Disney, even the theme parks, they said the wait times are even less now than they were during COVID, which is crazy. So,
burn, baby, burn.
Burn, baby, burn. The whole thing's going to burn down. I'm telling you.
Fuck you.
And more streaming news. Peacock, the cock. Get ready for a price increase. Starting August 17th, it will go up. The premium tier will go up $1 to $5.99, and the premium plus will go up $2 to $11.99 a month.
Now wait, David.
August 17th, that'll start.
David.
Yes.
Are you saying that people are going to have to pay more for the cock?
Yes.
And the cock is going up.
Yes. The cock is going up. Well, there's so many. Don't call your fucking streaming service Peacock. I don't know what to tell you.
That's very displeasing.
Oh my! And some sad news.
Always.
The live-action He-Man movie, Masters of the Universe, is dead again. A film that has been in development hell for decades now, and was at one time going to be a new live-action movie on Netflix, has died yet again.
Is that really a bad thing, though?
I was gonna say, it's probably for the
At this
best.
point, yeah.
You can't fuck with Dolph.
Just leave.
I mean, let's think about this for a second. Take He-Man and everything that He-Man does, stands for, whatever. Bring him into our universe, this area of somebody this time period making that movie. It's going to be horrible. When I say horrible, I mean it's going to be woke as fuck. Period.
Probably.
The Kevin Smith one wasn't bad.
I was about to say, didn't that one touch on some of those issues as well?
What Kevin Smith one?
The
Kevin
animation.
Smith, He-Man. That's on Netflix.
Oh, I never watched that. That was a Kevin Smith thing.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't bad.
I guess a year or two ago came out.
Mark Hamill was the Joker. Or, I mean, fucking Skeletor.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well,
I was like, whoa, what? Okay. I was like, is this a crossover? All right, that makes sense.
Mark
That makes
Hamill was the Joker as well.
Yes.
Yes, he was.
He's the best Joker.
In other streaming news, Paramount Plus, I didn't even know this was a thing, that this was happening, will be releasing a new Pet Sematary movie. It's a Pet Sematary prequel, and I was immediately turned off as soon as I read the title, and I'm not kidding. It's called Pet Cemetery Bloodlines.
Shut. Fuck. Yay! Let's talk about originality.
Why
many
don't you
movies
just
have I-
like Rise of the Pet Cemetery or fucking
Right.
something stupid like that? Pet Cemetery Vengeance.
Night of the Living Cats. I don't know. Just you stupid
Oh.
shit all over across the board. They could have called it. That was really stupid. That is dumb. Dumb. Dumb.
That's pretty
I was
bad.
Done after that.
Fuck Hollywood. Fuck Hollywood.
Fuck off.
Fuck Hollywood.
And finally, we'll do the box office real quick. And no surprise, this is from July 14th to the 16th, domestically too, by the way. And no surprise, Mission Impossible took the lead, bringing in a total gross of $84 million. The Sound of Freedom came in at number 2. Insidious: The Red Door came in at number 3. And oh, how the mighty have fallen. Indiana Jones, number 4. 3 weeks release with a total domestic gross of $147 million. Ouch.
And Flash is now streaming on Prime to rent or buy.
Oh, is it already?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's how good that did.
Excellent.
Indy's going to be in theaters much
It'll
longer.
probably be on Max in like the next month.
I think with the Flash, I'm just going to go on YouTube and find all the scenes with just Batman, and then I don't have to watch the whole fucking shit movie just to watch a couple of scenes with Michael Keaton, because I really don't give a fuck otherwise.
I believe the Dial of Destiny had a $295 million budget.
Something ridiculous. So that's not good. But hey, it's not my money.
Right.
Well, moving on. Oh, let's get to it. Let's get to our main course. We are talking. What's in the box? So this
Lord.
film came out at a very different time, 1995. God, it's hard. Man, Jesus.
Oh, I
that's
know.
almost 30 years ago. What the hell? I remember this movie coming out.
We were in high school.
Yeah, I was.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember seeing the poster in the movie theater and being like, "God, I wonder what that's about." From what I recall, there wasn't a whole lot of advertising for this movie. I think it had a budget of $30-some million. It brought in like 250, something like that. 250, 300 million, something like that. It was one of those word of mouth movies.
Yeah.
That just everyone was talking about, because this was at a time, Netflix wasn't even a thing yet, let alone any of those crime dramas or
Nothing was a thing.
Yeah, nothing was a thing in 95. It was a very different time, kids.
Like PlayStation 1.
Yeah, so crime thrillers weren't a big thing back during that time in the 90s. Jim Carrey, I think, was the big thing, and things like that. Like What About Mary? Movies like that came out. This one just kind of snuck up on everybody. After director David Fincher almost quit from the Alien 3 debacle. Thank God he didn't.
Love Alien 3.
It's surprising they got what they did, because the production of that movie was such a mess. I mean, it was such a mess it almost made the guy quit. But thank God he didn't. It propelled Brad Pitt's career in a different direction. Thank God, because I think he is a good actor. I think he's a solid actor. But he was bound to get trapped in those probably rom-coms and shit like that, probably. So this did him a lot of good. Morgan Freeman, of course, you can't go wrong. I don't want to go down the Kevin Spacey rabbit hole. Let's just
Look, okay, let's just go ahead and just fucking deal with that. Kevin Spacey, all right, the guy's a piece of shit, but we didn't know he was a piece of shit until later on.
right.
He's done some great movies, some of my favorite movies, and it's a real fucking bummer because I look at it now, it pisses me off. But these are some of my fucking favorite movies, this one being one of them, and he does a great fucking job in it. Piece of shit or not,
Yeah, he does. It
Kaiser
propelled him
Soze.
too. He was a rising star at the time with the Usual Suspects and little movies like that, but he took off after this. He was a leading man after this movie. I think this movie probably even got him the part of Lex Luthor years later in Superman Returns, that I still say is.
I forgot about that. He was Lex Luthor, wasn't he?
So this movie did a lot.
Superman had a kid.
And it's been imitated over and over and over again. The opening credits, I believe, even inspired the Garbage music video "Stupid Girl." Any Garbage fans out there?
I think it's the other way around. I want to say that because I think it was the same director directed their video.
Really?
I'm pretty sure.
I
think
somebody in the chat Google that.
because I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's how it was, because there was a few directors that were doing a lot of music videos, and somebody was doing like Manson and Garbage and all them, which I've always loved Garbage. The band.
Huge fan.
Yeah.
I'm still in love with Shirley Manson. Someday.
Oh yeah.
Someday.
Oh yeah. It'd be nice to take, wouldn't it? I actually that was one thing that caught me and my buddy John. It caught our ear because of that because Gravity.
Oh, Chuck. Oh, there he is.
Hold on.
Gravity.
All right. So yeah. So
I bought the soundtrack just for that song, that Gravity Kills song. I bought the soundtrack to this movie just for that song.
I bought that whole album, and it wasn't horrible. I mean, the best songs on it, they sounded the same, but yeah, me and my buddy John, who I got into horror movies with and stuff around that time, whenever we saw, I can't remember how long it was. We were in middle school, but we were walking past we were asking his parents something, and we heard the opening of the fucking movie, and we're like, what? And we just started watching it. So like, we went into their bedroom, and like, he was on one side of the bed and I was on the other side, like on the floor, just sitting there watching this movie. And like, we like instantly, like all four of us were just sitting there, it's instant
Such
favorite.
A great
instant
movie.
favorite.
Such a great movie. Beginning to end, the tension, the way the characters played off each other. It's just those three characters. You want to know what makes them tick, how they view the world. And it's just, and things don't go perfectly according to John Doe's plan. It's just a really smart movie that was probably a little bit ahead of its time, actually.
Chad, do you have the box there?
We do.
Perhaps a read.
Perhaps. Go ahead.
Oh, good.
I don't know how to read.
Brad Pitt, Ocean's 11 and Fight Club, and Morgan Freeman, The Sum of All Fears and Kiss the Girl. He was in a lot more movies than that. Star in a searing psychological thriller about two detectives on the trail of a vicious serial killer who chooses his victims according to the 7 deadly sins. This riveting classic, riveting, I love using that word, also stars Academy Award winner Gwyneth Paltrow and is directed by David Fincher. The Panic Room and Fight Club. 7 will, quote, knock you out of your seat, unquote.
That must have been a later release if it has Brad Pitt and mentioning Ocean's 11 and such.
Yeah, because Fight Club came out in 99. Ocean's 11 was 01, I think. So
correct.
I had the box set that looked like the Notebook that folded out.
I did too. It got stolen from me.
Mine died in a flood. It was terrible.
Mine was stolen by somebody who I thought was a friend of mine, but he's dead now, so it doesn't matter.
Oh, well.
It's usually how it happens.
Don't fuck with the good people.
But yeah, perfection in every way. I'm a big fan of this movie. I can't decide between 7 and Fight Club as my two favorite David Fincher Brad Pitt movies, but I don't know. 7's definitely up there.
They're both too. I mean, they're both psychologically like damning, but I mean, they're both two different types of mentally fucked up. You know what I mean? What I love about this movie is everything about it. The visuals. It's raw. It's kind of, it has a graphic novel feel to it. You know what I mean? Like it has a kind of almost a scratchy, like that greenish look to it. To a big portion of this movie is just, it looks gross. Like it has that kind of feeling. Like you kind of feel nasty when you watch this movie. The fact that the character, well, let me word that different. The characters in this movie are great. You kind of grow to love every one of them. For the minute you see, I mean, the development's wonderful with it. You know what I mean? They're all realistic. I believe them all to be these people. I mean, Morgan Freeman playing a guy that gives like great advice and has like wisdom. Jesus, how did he ever pull that off? Brad Pitt playing kind of like a goofy ass, like, like tough guy, but sweetheart of a guy, honestly. Like, how the hell did he pull that one? I mean, these actors are crazy. They're pretty much playing themselves. You got, Gwyneth Paltrow being a complete cutie as always in those days, and Arlie Ermey playing a loudmouth. Yelling orders and being an asshole. Like, they got some of the best people they could have in this fucking movie, and of course, like Kevin Spacey, who you don't realize he's in it till the end of it,
Right.
And I just love it. I watched this like a couple of times before we said we were going to do this, and I watched it a couple of times after. And man, it's just it's definitely like in my favorite movies like of all time, like top 10 probably. It's just so fucking good. It's disgusting. I love it. I mean, from the beginning, from the go on. I'm over
I was just
here
saying that's what I liked about it too, though. Like, because it was like really gruesome and like the visuals were real sick. Like you never actually see any of this shit happen, so you can just imagine like what the fuck happened whenever they were together during whenever this shit was going down.
Yeah,
I mean that's the best part of it.
Oh, I know. I mean, because like just thinking about like when they're talking about like the guy Gluttony, he's sitting there with the fucking his hands all tied underneath the table, and he's like fucking huge, and he's got the shit like his veins popping out, everything. It's horrible. It's disgusting. Mm-hmm. They're still talking about how like you find out that he had a gun pushed against his head and all this, and it's like somebody was forcing him to eat himself to death. Yeah. Holy fuck, that's crazy. Like
they say like he must have kicked him at some point, and you're just like, oh god damn, man, that's brutal.
And he burst.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, yeah, and then I mean, and probably one of the most like when you're in middle school, and first off, this has a lot of scenes in it that really freak me the fuck out. When the scene where the guy's been sitting in the room for a year, and he's like eating his own tongue and shit.
Oh god.
Which that was kind of how I looked when I had stomach surgery a while back. But anyway, that always scared the shit out of me. I remember that initial first time seeing it. In my friend's parents' bedroom, and when that guy I knew it was going to happen too, because he gets real close to me and he's just like and I can just immediately jump. But probably the most craziest thing, the craziest fucking death in this one, though, in my opinion, is I fucked her. Yeah. I fucked her. Like, oh my god, you don't see it, but the fact that like what that is, and what that's for, and what it did. And it's like
they just showed that Polaroid picture just for a second, and that's all you needed. That's all you needed to see.
Yeah, it's just perfect. Oh my god, it's a brutal fucking movie without it having to actually be that brutal. I mean, there's not really. I mean, because there's only a couple of times where you actually see violence. You know what I mean? It's a great mystery. It's probably one of the best mysteries, thrillers that have come out in our lifetime, in my opinion. It has to be. And I'm so glad they didn't do the sequel, but we'll get on to that in a minute.
Yeah.
Morgan Freeman with psychic abilities. Fucking get out of here.
Wait,
that's what
I know very little about the.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, they left it alone.
Yeah. Apparently, one of the ideas they had for doing a sequel for it, Brad Pitt's character. I can't remember if he had any part in it whatsoever, but he's gone.
He was in a loony bin.
Yeah, that's what he's a loony bin, and Morgan Freeman has like psychic abilities to interact with him and the killer or some shit. And I'm just like, oh, please don't do that, please, for the love of God, just don't fuck us fans, please. Just let's say this. This is a standalone movie. Doesn't need a fucking sequel.
Luckily the whole cast decided they didn't want to do a sequel either, so they were like, fuck it.
Well, good on
Thank
them.
God.
Where am I?
I mean,
I don't know.
You're in a box.
Did he go in the box?
You disappeared.
There's very few really good movies like this that actually managed to be left alone. Like this one, Fight Club, Training Day. Like very few of them actually managed to be left the fuck alone.
Yeah.
Oh, they were. You just jinxed every one of them, Dave.
Oh God, I hope not. I'm sorry then.
We're gonna run out. All three of those movies are getting sequels. They're gonna get remade too.
Running out.
No. I think that you would be completely like out of your mind stupid if you thought remaking this would be good.
Yeah.
Like it's just too good. This is a 5-star movie. I don't care who you are. This is a perfect fucking movie.
Going back to what you were saying too about the dude in the bed, like apparently he was just some skinny dude that they like some actor, I guess, and he only weighed like 98 pounds. His name is, what did they say his name was? Michael Reed McKay, I believe. And that fucking prosthetic he had to wear took 14 hours to put on.
God damn. It looked good though.
It did look good.
Yeah, they really did. I mean, okay, so the style of books that I write, splatterpunk, extreme horror, stuff like that. Talking to some other friends in the writing world and shit about, all right, like what movies would you consider splatterpunk? And Seven's come up so many times in those conversations, just because it's disgusting. It's a great story. It's brutal. It's just so brutal without being that brutal. And I mean, the ending, probably one of the most infamous endings ever. I mean, you know, what's going on over there with Mike? I'm being thrown off here. What's happening?
I don't know.
I swear to God, is he getting into a box? Please come back just with your head in a box. Like, that'd be so funny if he just like opens it up and it's just like blonde hair, but it's him poking his head. Anyway. Which, I mean, you would talk about an intense, like, you know, into a movie. I mean, the whole time when you realize when he's talking and he's like, what is he talking about? Like, you know, shut the fuck up. Shut up. What do you know? And you figure out, oh, his wife's head is in the fucking box. Like, I don't know. Even when I watch it now, I get that whole like feeling. You know what I mean? Like, oh God, you know. Even I know what's gonna happen. It's just like every time you just get this, because you get that. Because one, when you're watching it, you get that moment of what would I do. You also get that moment of I just shoot the fucker.
Yeah, I'd empty the clip. That's the same thing I'd do.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. How would you not? But it's so clever, you know, because you're
definitely believe it.
Yeah, I mean, you know, he's just like he has the upper hand now. You know what I mean? Like you're just kind of like, God, I get chills just thinking about that scene. We're like, what's he do? He shot him. Fuck, he shot him. Like, I mean, just that whole fucking scene, and then just at the end of it, it's him in the back seat of the cruiser just looking dazed. And it's just like, man, like you hate to see that. But I mean, the reality of it is that man is not going to let that man get up and leave.
Right.
That's just and he already knew that. You know what I mean? Because people could be like, oh, well, you know, I would arrest that man. But no, you wouldn't. They just cut your wife's like head off, like, you know, your pregnant wife's head off and put it in a box. Send you on this fucking wild ass goose chase. Trying to find his ass, and it's nothing but disgust and filth all along the way, which is great for us, you know, our entertainment, obviously. But it's like you're gonna blast this fucker away. At this point, you're like, I'm done. I don't know what else to fucking do. I've been consumed by this fucking like psycho shit, and now he's taken the rest of my life. So now I'm going to kill him. It's just human. It's probably one of the most human. This gets something fucked up, but it's probably one of the most human nature mentality. Like, I don't know how to word it. Films, because think about all the emotions throughout this whole movie.
Yeah, and it just like it just twists the knife because he didn't know she was pregnant, and it's just like it just keeps twisting and twisting and twisting until he pulls that trigger.
Know. Yeah, yeah. Oh man, and you get chills. And again, you know, like, you know, Kevin Spacey, he is one of my favorite actors, or was. I still appreciate his work, and this is one of my favorites because I saw this before I saw Usual Suspects and stuff, and I was like, man, I just really like how this guy, you know, how he comes off. Like he's just so, you know, it's like, have you ever seen Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil?
No, I don't think I have.
It's Clint Eastwood directed it. It's based off an old novel. It takes place in Savannah, Georgia, and it's one of my favorite movies. It's based off real shit that happened. It's a murder mystery. Got John Cusack, who else? A bunch of people. It's a great movie. But Kevin Spacey's character in it, man, he always plays kind of a very similar character. The real debonair, like, you know, like, oh, I can get my way, that kind of thing. He always came off as like the cool cat in the room, like. And this movie, you definitely see how sinister he can get, and you kind of actually, from this, I mean, it's kind of hard not to see him Well, yeah. Ever since I saw this movie, it's kind of hard not to see him from this role in every movie I've seen him in. I mean, even in fucking Horrible Bosses, it's like I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, what if this guy?
Hello, I am back.
Hey,
What were you doing, John?
Doesn't matter what I'm doing.
And that's the thing too, is you believe him. You believe that character, and that makes a good villain. He's highly intelligent, he's independently wealthy, and he believes that what he is doing is right. And that is fucking terrifying.
Yeah. Because there are people out there like that.
Mm-hmm.
Arguably,
Rest in peace, the Unabomber.
arguably, I would say this film may be one of the best of all time.
Completely.
I personally feel that it is a masterpiece. It is pure brilliance.
100%.
I'm sorry, the slow blink got me.
I have to agree. This movie is a fucking masterpiece. I don't say that with many movies, but this one's definitely a masterpiece.
No, okay.
Perfect.
I'm going to have to break kayfabe here because this fucking film is so fucking amazing. All right. Yeah. Words can't express how perfect of a film this is, you know, to me. It's like, to me, it feels like a lot of people, this flies under the radar because it's like one of those films that, you know, whenever I talk about it, it's like some people know about it, but it's like, it's not brought up as much as like other films that are ranked high in overall quality. And it amazes me how little this gets, you know, kind of gets overlooked, or how much it gets overlooked rather. Just everything about this film, like Chuck was saying, the feel of it, it's so gritty, it's so real. And it's like a modern film noir. If you go back and watch the old film noir films from back in the day, this is the modern version of it. And the story is so incredible. It's one of those stories that as soon as you're in it, you're hooked and you don't let go until the end. And then once you're at the end, you're like, holy shit, what did I just experience? And, you know, from every aspect of film, this hits the nail on every single one, in my opinion. In my opinion, this is the best film of all time. Maybe I'll say it is the best film of all time. Fuck it, I don't care. This film is amazing. I can't put this film over any more so than just me just fucking saying great grand things about it. You know, everything. It's so perfect. It blows my mind how perfect this film is. I mean, just the characters. You know, like you said, you know, you have Mills, who's the brash new detective on the scene, who's trying to make a name for himself.
Kind of cocky,
a little arrogant.
But he cares about people though.
Yeah, that's hard.
He does, but he's there to kind of make a statement and prove a point. You know, it's like he's in this new environment and he's trying to say, hey, you know, I can play with the big boys. And then you've got Somerset, who's on his way out, and he's the grizzled veteran, and he's done it all, and he's seen it all. And it's like a complete clash of personalities where you got this guy who's very brash and arrogant, and this guy who's very humble, and, you know, it's amazing that you have these two characters, and they're both so likable. And it's like,
that's hard to do.
Yeah, because it's like from the beginning, they're kind of bouncing off each other. You know, Brad Pitt's character even says, you know, I don't want us to start off by kicking each other in the dick, and it kind of felt that way, where there was that kind of pushback, you know, that tension between the two or whatever. And, you know, as it goes along, you know, there's a little, you know, it's like, you know, Brad Pitt's like, you know, feels a little slighted by Somerset, and he doesn't necessarily realize that, you know, he respects his authority, but at the same time, like he said, he's like, oh, I didn't stand around just watching Taco Bells. You know, he's paid his dues in a way, and he feels like he's ready to play in the big leagues, and he feels that he's kind of being held back or held down by Somerset. And just the fact that, you know, the story is so fucking good, man. You especially because it's like you have those two characters and you have the two actors, and the correlation between all of that is it's like you got Brad Pitt, who's coming off of like Interview with the Vampire and
the Legends of the Fall.
Legends of the Fall. And then you got Morgan Freeman, who's coming off of motherfucking Shawshank Redemption and the Clint Eastwood gimmick.
Unforgiven.
Yeah. So it's like
Damn good movie.
It's so incredible that you have these two actors playing these two characters because it fits perfectly. The casting, perfect. The directing, perfect. David Fincher nails the look and feel of everything in this film, like down to the smallest details. You know, like you guys were talking about the not seeing actually all the graphic violence and everything like that, and that's what makes it even more mentally brilliant. Is that you don't have to show all that, but you can still have the feel, the grittiness, and the kind of the nasty feel of these crimes that are being committed without showing them. And it allows the viewer's mind to kind of fill in the blanks. And even also all the way up until the end, whenever they get the box and they never show what's in the box. And I think that is the perfect, you know, a lot of people were like, oh, well, maybe they should have shown it, because they actually had a head made up of Gwyneth Paltrow that they had in the box, and they decided not to show it. They decided against it, and I think that was the
show some hairs. It's more effective. You don't always have to show it. Yeah. I mean,
perfect.
It has the same effect of like Texas Chainsaw Massacre. You know, when people look back on it, like, you know, they think it's so, you know, and you look back and you're like, it really isn't. It isn't gory.
Yeah, there's like no blood. There's like a drop of blood in that whole movie.
Yeah,
well, they said that they redid the ending before. Like the studio actually wrote an ending for it so that they actually would show the box. But then Brad Pitt and everybody that read the original script were like, if you can do it, we're not going to finish filming the movie.
Fucking A.
Because they all like the original ending better. Which is the ending we got.
And it's like even with the lust victim, just that, like I said, just that Polaroid. He just slaps it on the table for a second, and that's all you needed. And then the audience can just, like Mike said, fill in the blanks. And it's the same with all the victims.
That's why it was so fucking good, in my opinion. That was just great.
It's brilliant. I mean, the Gwyneth Paltrow head that they had made up, they actually used it in another film, Contagion, years later during the autopsy scene. The autopsy scene where it's her head. That's the actual head that they had in the box. And it just because they never used it for anything else.
Wait, so she's dead in Contagion?
Spoiler.
No,
I don't even know what the fuck that movie is.
She's just on an autopsy table.
Right.
So
say what she was doing.
So yeah,
well,
if
everything worked out.
If you wonder, did they ever have anything in the box, or was it just, you know, some kind of metaphor? Yes, there was something in the box. And it was a head that they had made up, and it sat on a shelf for many years until they used it in the film Contagion. So that's
awesome.
Weird fact.
Yeah,
I was gonna say that's what I would do. You know, that'd be one of the coolest fucking things to have the box and the head from Seven on your shelf.
I wonder where that is.
That would be interesting.
That'd be great.
Somebody has to have that.
That'd be some money, probably.
But yeah, this movie just quietly came out in the fall of 1995. It didn't come out in the summer or anything. I think the end of September it came out. And it just quietly snuck in, and the more and more people saw it, the more and more people started talking about it.
See, I think that has to do with too, because they didn't let you know that Kevin Spacey was the killer, because they wanted you to go on that journey with them at first. So like until anybody else saw it, then you didn't even know Kevin Spacey was in the movie.
And they do that. It's another smart thing they do is at the beginning opening credits.
Yeah, his name's not there.
His name's not there. And what they do to make up for it in the end is they show his name twice in the ending credits.
Yeah. I think his name popped up first.
It popped up first, and then also again. So they gave him two credits, because
I noticed too. Like I think that's the only movie I've ever seen where the credits start out and scroll down instead of upwards.
Yes, and that was intentional as well.
Like that to me, that's like that catches your eye. Like makes you actually like want to hang out and kind of like fuck it. I guess I will watch the credits. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Definitely different, and that's what's so unique about the film. It's like it does all these little things different, and it's like the shit that I enjoy as a viewer. There's the head from Contagion.
Oh, that's good too.
Yeah,
it still looks good.
That's what would have been in the box.
I wonder what they would have had to done to like kind of like make it look fresh again.
Fresh meat.
I'm gonna leave my jokes and comments to myself at this point in this episode. Thank you.
It'll be on the Clerks After Dark episode.
Yeah.
All right.
What's wrong, Chuck? You didn't want a little head?
I mean,
what does everybody want?
I mean, I don't think Gwyneth Paltrow should have lost her head over the situation. She's a little headstrong. No.
I was talking to Dave earlier too. Like I saw that they like the original pick for Mills was supposed to be Denzel, and then the original pick for Somerset was supposed to be Pacino. And then they said I think John Doe was supposed to be Michael Stipe from REM's acting debut.
Oh gosh, that would have been horrible. I didn't believe it neither. I had to look it up because I was like, no.
What's the frequency, detective? Oh, what?
That would have been horrible, man. Fuck.
That's me with no fingers, tips.
Like I swear though, like Nicolas Cage would have been a good John Doe.
Everybody.
I kept picturing it though. I kept picturing it after Chad said something about it, and I was like, I could kind of see it.
It also
I think it's
like that
fine
the one scene where he walks into the police station. Whenever he turns himself in and he's like, detectives! Like, I was like, I can picture Nick Cage screaming that and making it sound way more over the top. And then, like, the rest of the movie, we just fucking kept picturing Nick Cage as fucking John Doe, and it was just cracking us up.
Yeah, so.
Oh, man, I don't know. I don't think. I think, like, he would do good at certain points, but he wouldn't have had the haunting nature of it like Kevin Spacey did with it.
No, I think Spacey was the choice.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I mean,
no, the Denzel Washington. Sorry.
No, I was going to say
Speak, Mike. Speak.
No, I was just going to say that if anybody else, I think I'd be curious to see John Lithgow as John Doe. I think
he'd have been too tall though. That'd have been good. He's a tall fellow. That would have been good, though. I could see that.
John Lithgow knows how to play a fucking asshole. He knows how to play a fucking sadistic killer. I mean, we saw him in fucking Dexter, Raising Cain, fucking that Denzel Washington movie, Ricochet.
Santa Claus the movie. Don't forget that.
Cliffhanger. I mean, like the guy knows how to play a bad guy, and he's one of my favorites. He's one of my favorites to watch playing a bad guy because he doesn't like because you think of him as Harry and the Hendersons, like and Third Rock and all that shit. So like when you see him playing a bad guy, you're like, yes. But he's about the only one that I think could have done that justice.
Not that I would change a thing about this movie.
No,
ever.
No, not at all. No. Hypothetical.
Perfect. Yeah.
Like we were watching like towards the end, and I was like, imagine if like Denzel was like Mills, and he'd have been like, what's in the box? What you got in the box? Like,
what's in that box? What you got in that box?
A whole different thing.
You did a pretty good Pacino. Throw the gun away.
Yeah, he's like, Mills, get rid of the gun.
What are you doing? Get down.
We got a big box.
We've got a big box, and we've got a guy over here. Yeah.
You got a head all the way in it.
I mean, that's. Do you remember when MTV did the MTV Movie Awards?
Yes.
And they did the whole thing, like the whole show. They had little clips of like 7, and it was like William Shatner all in a. He was playing all 3 characters, right? That was hilarious because like William Shatner could have pulled it off too from that. But yeah, that was all fucking hilarious. But again, but I think at the end of that little thing, didn't William Shatner's head pop up out of the box or some shit?
I think so.
I can't remember. That could just be something in my head. But I actually forgot about that just like a few seconds ago. But yeah, God, man, this movie is fucking perfect though.
And little things like so original, like cutting the skins off his fingertips. The way Mills and Somerset got to his apartment in the first place through his fucking library records.
Yeah,
like I was so good. Like, who would even thought to do that? And then the fact that they can't go in there because they didn't have a warrant, and it's all these things. It's like it's like so original. It's so fucking good. I have nothing bad to say. This is in my top 10 movies to see before you die, for sure.
For sure.
And it's like, as far as a crime mystery goes, it's everything you want, because all the characters, well, except Brad Pitt, he's not very calculated, but you got Somerset and John Doe. Both characters are so calculated in what they do, even though they're on completely different sides of the spectrum as far as good and evil. Both are very calculated. Even they show the details as far as Somerset goes in the beginning, where he lays his suit down and he smooths it out real nice, or whenever he's laying in bed, he has the little
pendulum thing.
Yeah, going back and forth. He's very particular about how he does things in his way. And also John Doe is the same. He's very calculated. He goes through, it's like a brilliant killer, and then you got a brilliant detective, and everything that you would expect from those personalities plays out exactly. It's not like some films where you'll have this guy who's supposed to be portraying this really great detective, but then he does some kind of bonehead thing, and you're like, why would he do that? And it's like you never question anything Somerset does in this, and it's just so good. And I attribute all of it to writer Andrew Kevin Walker, who fucking. This is his masterpiece, and it's like one of his early films they wrote, and it's like, where do you go from here? He did like 8mm. He did some other stuff as well, and oddly enough, and Andrew Kevin Walker's from Altoona, Pennsylvania.
Oh, wow. Yeah, and I think he wrote it when he moved from Altoona to New York. He basically went from the suburbs to the big city, and that's.
He got a job working at a video store, and then he wrote a movie.
Which Chuck doesn't realize it, but Altoona is about an hour north of where we live in Cumberland, so very close by, and I think, I don't know, I never saw anything like this on online or whatever, but I would imagine that he came up with the name of Somerset from Somerset, Pennsylvania. That is.
Oh, yeah.
That makes sense.
Altoona.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say something else that was kind of interesting was the fact that Brad Pitt actually hurt the fuck out of himself. And like when
his arm.
Yeah, and so they just kind of worked, like he did the whole rest of the movie like all fucked up and shit. It was like with his hand. They just kind of worked it in.
They wrote it in there to where John Doe injures him in that chase scene, and then it's like that where he's got his arm in a sling or in a cast or whatever. So that was legit.
There's a few scenes where like you always see his hand in his pocket because he had that cast on and didn't want to see it.
So what did he do? He cut his hand on glass or something? What did he do?
Some stunt gone wrong. He like cut his hand and broke his arm.
Oh, so he broke his arm. God damn.
Yeah.
And that when he fell off the when
he was during that one chase scene.
Yeah. Whenever they were doing the chase scene, his arm went through the windshield of the car. And then that's when they fucked it up.
Oh, so he Goldberged.
He actually severed his tendon.
Yeah, he Goldberged.
But I mean, that's it makes it even more amazing. Where it's like elements of life, real life, are bleeding into the story. Where this is just so amazing. I can't. When I think of this film, it fucking blows my mind, man. It's just nothing. I
always love whenever we have a good episode where you're like real passionate about it.
Yeah,
dude, because
Not that we all aren't, but I mean, I know how you love this movie almost as much as you like Natural Born Killers.
It's you know, those are up there, you know, and like Dave mentioned earlier, Fight Club, that's another one. It's, you know, it's just such, all the elements, everything comes together. It's such a clever film. It's written perfectly, it's directed perfectly, it's casted perfectly. I can't say a bad thing. And you know me, if you watch any of these episodes of Video Store Clerks, I'm hypercritical of a lot of shit, you know, and I can't pick out one bad thing. And I try to, you know, it's not like, oh, I love this movie, so I'm just going to put it over no matter what. I go back and watch it, and I try to fucking figure out what is bad about it. And I can't find anything.
Right.
And that's what makes it so great to me, to where I'm just like, fuck, every time I watch this movie, I'm watching perfection, and I fucking love it. You know, it's so amazing, and I can't fucking put it over enough.
You were mentioned how Denzel Washington might have been, you know, Pitt's character, Mills.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, though, is if you look at the movie Fallen, that's what I was gonna say a minute ago. Like, you could totally see that, because I mean, there's a very similar feel to that movie and this, you know, same kind of look and all that kind of shit.
Yeah, like what's funny though is like I watched my DVD copy of it once, and then I watched it on Tubi twice, and just because I don't have the app on the other TV, but every time you watch it on Tubi, like after it's over and like it has like the next movie to pop up for you, that the recommended movie, it's always Fallen.
Interesting.
Yeah,
it's a good one. I think it's
that movie is really good. It really is.
It is. I watched it recently, actually. John Goodman in that character. Like, hey, dude, because there's so many good actors in that movie. We'll have to talk about that one sometime. That's a good one. We really
will.
Yeah.
I love that movie.
Fuck
I think we mentioned it a couple of times whenever we did the Smile one, because it was so similar.
And this was one, like, even with the twist at the end, even when you know what's going to happen, even when you have the fucking movie memorized, I could still go back and watch it from beginning to end and still be into it and still be entertained.
Yeah, I mean, it's over 2 hours and it doesn't even feel that bad. Like, it's like,
I don't even know what the runtime is.
It goes by quick. Like, the pace of this movie is perfect.
Mm-hmm.
You're never sitting there.
It's chilling because it's like everything. John Doe has mapped out everything perfectly, and it's playing out just as he anticipated. And then whenever they're taking him to that final scene, and you got the car ride where they're talking to him, that just sets everything up perfectly, because we haven't seen his character really hardly at all in this film. You know, just like, you know, the chase scene, whenever he's in the stairs and he's posing as the photographer and takes the picture of Mills or whatever. You know, we don't really see this character. We don't have any insight to him except that he's committing these crimes. And now you actually, it's like the interview with like Mickey Knox or, you know, Charles Manson or whatever. You're getting that sit down interview, that feel, you know, more or less, because he's there. He's behind the cage of the police car, and you got the Mills, you know, saying that kind of shit that like basic people would say to him, like, you know, you're all fucked up, you're insane, you know, all these things, these criticisms, and he doesn't realize, you know, he's just basing the judgment solely on the acts that he's done. But then you've got Somerset, who has these inquisitive questions and it wants to understand more of this killer's mind and why he did the things. He wants to understand who he was and why he did them. You know, because is he really crazy? You know, does he believe that he was chosen by a high power, or is he doing it because he likes it? You know, those sorts of things. And it's so calculated. Even Somerset, oh my fuck, it's so good. He's like, because Somerset's like, you know, if I have a question or a glaring something that you overlooked, and John Doe was like, well, what is that? And then Somerset's, I'm glad you asked. I'm glad you asked. And then he goes into that whole thing where he's like, you know, if you were chosen by a higher power, as you say, then I can't imagine you would have enjoyed doing it so much. There's so much pleasure out of doing what you did. And it's like the retorts that he has to both characters. It's so good because he can. It's like with Somerset, you've got the meeting of the minds, more or less. Mm-hmm. And then with Mills, you've got Mills who's throwing all this shit at him and giving him all this criticism and judgment and everything like that. And he's able to come back at Mills and say these things that Mills doesn't really have a response to. You see Mills getting frustrated and upset with him. And, eventually where he's like, shut the fuck up, because Mills doesn't get it.
Yeah.
Mills, his brain isn't on the same level that Somerset and John Doe are on. So it's like he's confused because John Doe is presenting all these answers and they make logical sense when you listen to him. He's like, oh, we see a sin on every street corner and we turn a blind eye to it and everything like that. And this is all true. We allow these things to happen. And, Mills tries to, you're killing innocent people. And he's like, innocent? Only in a world this shitty can you try to say that these people were innocent and have a straight face? Because all the points he makes are correct, about the whore, the lawyer, all these people that he killed. It all makes sense.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it even and more, like I said, more chilling than anything, is because whenever you're sitting there and you've got a character who's a serial killer and so heinous and everything, that whenever they start to make sense and they're applying logic to it, and you go, wow, I get it, and you're kind of connecting on some kind of wavelength on this with this person, it's scary.
It's like one of the whenever I was doing some research about it, like the main question I always saw popped up would be, do you consider John Doe an anti-hero or a villain? And it's like it's hard to fucking like put him in a solid category on that, because I mean he's technically no different than like the Punisher.
Yeah.
And it was amazing they were able to do that with the writing in that one scene in the car. They're just sitting in a car driving.
Yeah.
And you got
I
all
wouldn't
this
say he's like the Punisher, though. Sorry, I'm going to interrupt you. I wouldn't say he's like the Punisher. I don't think the Punisher would just like kill. Like the Punisher kind of has a.
Oh,
I mean, he wouldn't put so much thought into it like that, but I mean, in the same,
I would think
same way they're
something
both taking
more
out the trash.
Something more along the lines of Jigsaw.
Yeah,
that's what. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like I wouldn't call him an anti-hero either, though. I mean, the guy's doing kind of shitty. Like, I mean, yeah. I mean, it's okay. Yeah, it is kind of a hard. Never mind. Fuck me. Yeah, you're right.
But see, that's the point, though. That's
in his mind, he's punishing the wicked,
right?
And he believes what he's doing is right, and that's the best kind of villain you can have.
Yeah,
the scariest kind of villain you can have. Because when he's back there talking, you're like, God damn, he's right.
Right. And then it's like the mystery of it all plays out so perfectly. I think I remember the first time I saw it, because when it got down towards the end scene, you're still sitting there thinking to yourself, well, we've had the 5 murders. There's still 2 left. You got envy and wrath. And you're like, in my mind, I'm trying to figure it out too. And I always thought, at the very first time I saw it, I'm like, he's taking these guys out there and his plan is to have them be the 2 other victims. I never thought that the wife would come into play. And that's what makes it even more amazing as far as the story goes, because it's something that kind of catches you off guard. It's like you knew Gwyneth Paltrow was there, but she was kind of in the background. It didn't distract you.
She was an innocent.
What was going on? Yeah, and yeah. Well, yeah.
Punisher wouldn't kill her.
Right, but it was the means to the end. She wasn't one of the. She wasn't one of the deadly sins. He was the envy, and Mills became the wrath.
Yeah.
But you think like he's leading these guys out there to some kind of trap or something, and God, what the hell is going on here? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah.
You just got the face up.
I didn't even touch anything. What is going on here? Is this an act? Is this an act of a higher power, perhaps? Here, I'm going to refresh. Hold on. Talk amongst yourselves.
All right, John. Thank you.
Well,
you're the one having the storm, and Mike's the one having problems.
Yeah, I've been waiting for something to happen. Knock on wood. But so far, so good. But yeah, this movie rocks. I love this fucking movie. Oh, there's Mike. Go on, Mike.
Yeah. No, I was just finishing up.
Yep, you're right. Back to you.
How it kind of surprises you with that whole thing. And then it's like, wow, it's such a clever film from start to finish. And, you know, casting, we talked about Arlie. What the fuck? What is going on here?
That's
Like,
usually
Arlie, what the fuck? What?
Nothing is fucked, dude.
No, nothing is fucked, dude. Nothing is fucked.
Nothing is fucked.
Nothing is fucked, dude.
What the fuck, dude? No. Arlie Ermy. I don't know if we mentioned Richard Roundtree, Shaft in there.
Oh yes.
Oh shit!
Sure.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
And so many. They said Fincher was a big fan of Kubrick, and that's why he wanted Arlie Ermy in the film.
Ah, nice. Of course he is.
Perfect. I mean, how could you not have? I mean, he was perfect. I mean, he always did great shit like that. You know, that was all that he ever did.
And this was his first big film, I think. Before that, Fincher was directing a bunch of music videos. He did a bunch of like Madonna's videos, Paula Abdul, Aerosmith, you know, a bunch of music videos he was directing. And
garbage.
This is like, and this
For
was
sure.
this was one of his first big films. And like I said, with Andrew Kevin Walker, you know, it's so amazing, so amazing. I can't. It blows my mind.
Mike just came.
I did, and I'm gonna have to get a hot towel. No.
It's just one of those movies where like everything just fell into place and everything worked out perfect.
Yeah.
Because they said like they use a lot of rain machines, so that's why like I think Fincher didn't like it because he got sick. He was pretty much sick the whole time they were filming. And then they wanted to add more of a rainy effect, which is why they added all that grittiness to the film whenever they were in post-production.
Worked.
And gave it that extra little bit of darkness that you needed.
What's really great about this movie is the first time you see it, you think about it. Because I remember thinking about this movie a lot after I saw it. I actually I tried to write my own mystery for a writing thing for like the big test at the end of the year kind of thing. And it was loosely based around the idea of like I was pretty much ripping off Seven. Like it not exactly, but that's what I saw in my head when I was writing it. Bar none, one of the best movies ever made. You couldn't ask for a better thriller.
I remember going out and getting those notebooks like he had, and everything. Like after that film, like, everything I always wrote in notebooks like that, and I wanted to have like all these volumes of these same notebooks like he did. It's just so clever. You know, it's like if you're gonna have a serial killer, like man, like I said, I don't feel like this film gets enough appreciation. Like I don't hear people talk about it as much as they should be. You know, it's like people fucking revere like Godfather and all these other films, which are amazing, but I don't hear people revere Seven as much as they should be.
Agreed.
Maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm just a fucking mark for this film so much that I can't fucking stop sucking it off. But
I love this movie so good.
Yeah.
What does Brad Pitt say in that movie about don't jerk me off? Just
don't jerk me off.
Don't jerk me off. Jerk me off. But man, so
he
good.
also has one of my favorite lines in this movie. Actually, is something Brad Pitt says. It's where they're sitting in the police station, or whatever, they're talking about stuff, and Brad Pitt showing the kind of like mindset this guy is. He's just like, just because the fucker's got a library card doesn't make him Yoda.
Yeah, right.
And that always cracks me up every time. I'm just like, that's such a good one. There we go.
No. He's clearly insane. He's sitting around in his underwear, his mother's underwear, rubbing peanut butter.
Yeah, that's
and it's like, oh man, it's like Mills.
He's a nutbag.
Yeah, Mills is the average Joe. It's like he appeals to the average man, and then Somerset appeals to the thinking man, and it's just combined, they are like the perfect detective. And it makes it so good. The contrast of the veteran and the rookie. Well, Mills not necessarily a rookie, but he's rookie to this city, and this kind of element as far as crime goes. So, just so fucking good. And then the end, we all know
what's in the box.
The box shows up, and like we said, the choice not to show the head was the right choice. You know, there was no there. If you did it the other way, it wouldn't have been as good. And you know, just the look on Morgan Freeman's face whenever he opens it and realizes, and there's like this hesitation where he looks back and he's processing it.
Yeah.
And he's figured it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it's like, you know, he's trying to convey it to Mills and he's running over there. And then at the whole time you have John Doe who's giving this speech to Mills about how he envies his life as a simple man and all this. And that he tried to go and play husband and it didn't work out. So he had to take a souvenir and ended up being his wife's set.
What the fuck's he talking about? What the fuck's he talking about right now?
Yeah, and it's just so
rips your fucking heart out.
Because Spacey, the piece of shit Spacey, fucking so he just says it so matter of factly and so calmly that like
he didn't know.
Yeah, he decapitated this man's wife's head, and she had his unborn child in her, and fucking, you know, he's just so calm, collected, you know, like oh, you know, no big deal.
What's he talking about?
Right.
And it's like, then he finally, Somerset finally gets over to Mills and he's like, he breaks it down to him. He's like, look, if you shoot him, he will win.
Yeah.
And Mills is, you know, like, oh God, you know, he has that choice. Do I do the right thing or do the wrong thing? And another brilliant,
that look on his face.
You know,
he plays that so good
because he's struggling. Wow. He's struggling with the choice.
Yeah.
And it's that one, you know, they show that flash of his wife. And it's the same thing that like most people would think, because it's like you're a law-abiding cop that's supposed to, you know, protect and serve, and it's like you have the guy that just murdered your wife and unborn child right in front of you. What do? Do you kill him, or do you put the gun down and take him in? And it's like that passion and that moment where he has that flash and sees his wife, and that's just what triggers it. And, you know, what else do you do? I mean, I can't blame him, you know?
Right.
It's like if he does put the gun down and if he does put the gun down and they take John Doe in, he's still fucked up. I mean, John Doe even breaks it down to him. He's like in the car. He's like, you only get to live what life I've allowed you to live because I let you survive in that chasing whenever he could have killed him. And it's like, it's even more haunting that after Brad Pitt kills John Doe's plan played out perfectly. Now we don't know what happens to Mills. You know, he goes away in the car and Arlie Ermey says, we'll take care of him or whatever, but we don't really know what happens with him. Does he go to jail or whatever? But no matter what happens to him, he has to live with the fact that he completed this guy's masterpiece work. And like John Doe said to him in the car ride, you know, every time you look in the mirror, you have to realize that you're only alive because he allowed it. Yeah. So it's a complete mind fuck for the character as well, to where, you know,
that whole scene where like John Doe and Mills are talking, and you know, he's running back and he's like waving off the fucking helicopter. He's like, you know, go whatever and all that stuff.
Stay away from him. John Doe has the upper hand.
He has the upper hand, and
it's like whatever happens down here, just go away.
Yeah, and then right after, like, he fucking nails him, and he just leans over, and the guy's like, "Oh shit, fuck, he shot him! He fucking shot him!" That's all you like kind of hear as it goes away. It's just like, wow, fucking every time, man. I got chills thinking about it still.
The guy in the chopper's like, somebody call somebody. Like, they don't know what to fucking think. You know, and it's.
I always forget that guy's name too. The guy that played the SWAT guy.
He's
in a lot of shit. He was in Surviving the Game.
Stan versus Evil.
Oh yeah.
Stan versus Evil. And then you had the falafel guy from Batman being like the snitch guy or whatever. That's informant.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, Mark Boone Jr.
Yeah, I always call him the falafel guy.
The falafel guy. He was.
You don't like falafel?
He was in Sons of Anarchy too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's been in a lot of shit. He's been in a lot of stuff.
They both have like a lot of goofy shit.
But we were talking about the sequel before. They ended up putting out the film that the sequel script was based off of What the fuck was it called? Oh shit! Now I forget. I'm gonna
Second
look
Sight.
it up. No, it's like Con something.
Air.
Not Con Air.
That'd been weird.
Oh, that would have been weird.
The fuck is Solace? Never mind. I'm way off. I don't know why I was thinking Con. Solace.
Con Solace.
The Anthony Hopkins movie that came out in 2015, Solace. That's the script that was originally going to be rewritten for the sequel to Seven, called 8.
Was it really called 8?
It was going to be called 8. The studio wanted to call it 8, and
of course they did.
Dude. Okay, so fucking. Not only did they want to call it 8, but their plan was, if you go and watch this Solace movie, their plan was for the sequel to be following Somerset. We catch up with Somerset down the road, and he has developed psychic powers. That's all you.
Yeah, we discussed that earlier.
Yeah, that's all you need to know, and it's like pure shit. Like,
yeah, no, I'm so glad they didn't do that.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that film Solace. If you go and watch it, that's what the sequel to 7 was supposed to be. So, have fun with that.
Yeah. And I'm going to watch it. I'm just kind of curious now. But thank God it got left alone, because this was a absolute masterpiece.
Yeah.
And that's it. I have nothing bad to say about this movie.
Yeah. If you've never seen this film, go out and immediately see it as soon as possible, because it's, like I said, it's I'm willing to fight somebody on whether or not this is the best film of all time. Fuck it.
And if you haven't seen this movie, sorry that we told you everything important that happened at the end of this movie, but you also know the spoilers are a thing.
You'll still like it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I definitely put this up there with like you said, like Natural Born Killers, like Shawshank, like Usual Suspects. Like they're all up there when it comes to fucking like mind fuck type movies.
Yeah.
I mean, not Shawshank, but Shawshank's just a banging movie.
Sure.
So that's it. Any final words for 7 before we depart?
Watch
Amazing.
Perfection. Perfection. Thank you.
Beautiful.
Thank you, Andrew Kevin Walker. Thank you, David Fincher, Brad Pitt, Morgan Freeman, Spacey.
Yeah.
And if you watch this film and you haven't seen it before, and you decide to watch it and like it, drop a comment somewhere in here after you watch this and come back and
let us know what you think about it. Yeah, because we love this movie. You should too. And if you don't, then you're on the other side, bro.
You know, anybody that was involved in this film in any way, shape, or form, thank you, because it is a masterpiece, and you guys created something truly amazing as far as film and cinema history goes.
Well said.
Fuck yeah.
So are we going to
unveil the box?
What's in the box?
Do we really want to know?
I could have swore he was going to come back and have like the camera inside the box and him opening it. That's what I thought he was going to do.
Or I was going to have my dick in the box?
No. It's just going to be like looking down, talking into the box.
Say looking dong?
Looking down. What is it with you people?
Did you say licking dong? All right.
Is the random clip of the week in there?
Stay away. Guys, stay away. John Doe has the upper hand.
Oh, God.
What's in the box? Oh, the plug of the week.
And it's upside down.
It's not upside down. It's negative.
Oh, it's back asswards.
Yeah, it's back asswards. It's like how I am right now.
The camera mirrors it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Either way. Hell yeah. That's awesome.
It's Chuck Nasty's novella, Thirsty. Available now on Amazon.
Links are in the description.
901 after tax.
All
Good
right.
read.
Before we go, it is that time. It is time to fire up the random clip generator, ladies and gentlemen.
It's been over an hour already.
I should
Who
have
do
put
you
a
do,
copy.
motherfucker?
I should have
Talk
put a
about
copy
this
out.
movie all night.
I should have put a copy of Halloween Ends in the box. As soon as I opened it, that's what popped in my head. I was like, shit. All right, let's see this fucking clip.
All right, it's time for our random clip of the week. Let's see what we got this week.
Mr. Homolka? Oh. Stop eating my sesame cake. Stop!
It's so crazy that is the clip of the week, because like I literally I could show you my goddamn search history. I've been going through and watching Tim Curry stuff over the last 24 hours because I got these us all tickets to meet Tim Curry whenever we go up to New York Comic Con. And I've been watching like different videos and interviews. Like they had because of his condition after his stroke, he does a lot of virtual interviews or whatever with people, and I've been watching them, and it seems like his health is improving. I mean, he's still in the wheelchair and everything like that, but he talks. You can clearly understand him. He talks well and everything like that. So I mean, despite the condition, he's still able to communicate and seems as well as can be. But he's going to be at New York Comic Con. We're going to go up and meet him, and I've been watching Tim Curry stuff lately, so it's just so strange that ended up being the clip of the week. No,
such a great actor,
such
man.
a coincidence. Yeah.
So you're going to be meeting him, really?
Yeah.
All right. Well, you talk to him. Tell him that your buddy Chuck is a huge fan and loves the song "Paradise Garage." And
that's it.
What?
Damn it!
You cut out. Did you say to tell him that our buddy
right.
Chuck, his favorite song is "Sweet Transvestite"?
Shut up! No, I do love that song, but and I used to never mind. But I used to name my friends that with my version of that song because it's fucking hilarious. But whatever. I do impressions. Leave me alone. But he had a song out years ago called "Paradise Garage," and I still blast it up. And it's ridiculous, but it's fun. But he also had another song called "I Do the Rock," and it's ridiculous. But if you happen to get him to sign anything for me, have him sign "Chuck Does the Rock." I know it sounds fucked up and it sounds so messed up, but
it really
I'm
does.
sure he'd probably get a kick out of the fact that anybody would actually remember his fucking music when it comes down to it. Like, because some of it's actually really good. But yeah.
He scared the shit out of me when I was a kid. I was waiting for Pennywise the Clown to fucking come walking in my room when I was 10 years old.
He's the reason why I love clowns.
Yeah.
Anyway. I didn't. When it came down to that, just real quick, like when it came down to like Tim Curry, I mean, I remember The Worst Witch. Did you ever watch that? Fairuza Balk when she was younger and all that shit. He was the Grand Wizard.
Yeah.
Which is really bad considering. Never mind. But that's what I remember from when I later saw it. I was like, oh, okay. It didn't scare me at all, but I do like his version of that a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
He was really dope in as a Darkness and Legend.
Dude, that's one of the reasons why Tales from the Crypts episode
so fucking good.
We'll have to do an episode on Tim Curry.
Yeah.
I think the scariest role for me was Home Alone 2.
I was just gonna say one of my favorite things was like on Tales from the Crypt 2 was on an episode where he played,
That's true.
The death of some salesman.
Yeah.
Salesmanship. Love it. Anyway, I just want an excuse to do that. Anyway, go.
You never need an excuse on this show.
Nope.
Nope.
And make sure you join us every Tuesday night at 10 p.m. Eastern. We do these live streams. We also have movie reviews up every once in a while. We do a thing. But make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And we'll see you all next week.
Wait a minute.
What?
What are we doing next week?
What are we doing next week? It's the 30th anniversary of Jurassic Pork.
Jurassic Pork?
Oh, okay.
Jurassic Shark?
We'll see you then. Join us. Good night.